What's up everyone, it's Ab from Life of Adam. Today I'm back with a brand new Lifeguard video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new Lifeguard pre-test that combines the lap swim and the treading water. Now initially it was a 300-yard swim without stopping. That was one test. And then the second test was a treading water with no hands for 2 minutes. But now the new Red Cross test is you swim 150 yards without stopping, then you start treading for 2 minutes without hands, and then you continue with a 50-yard swim. Now, in my opinion, this test is a lot easier because A, you don't have to swim nearly as much distance. You only swim 200 versus 300, so that's a third reduced. And also the treading water is kind of like a break in between, especially if treading is your strong suit, because you don't have to get super tired for the swimming laps. You can stay in one spot, tread, get into a rhythm, and then you can continue with 50 yards to finish. So in this video, I'm gonna go over some of my tips, how you should view it, some hacks so you can pass on your first try, as well as some of my thoughts on the test. Now, before I dive into this, if you guys are new to the channel, I make a bunch of lifeguard content about how to pass the course, the pre-test, the final exam, how to be a good lifeguard. Basically everything you need to know. So definitely consider subscribing and liking the video if you're new to the channel. Now, my first tip, I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but you want to treat the tread as like a rest. And what I mean by that is if you go to a public pool, you go into a lane and you tread on your own, let's say without hands for 2 minutes, if you can do that pretty easily, you're in great shape, because when you're swimming laps and then you get to that point of the test, it's something that doesn't take a lot out of you. You can consistently do it and you can treat it as a rest because you're not swimming back and forth, you're staying in one spot. However, if you go to a pool and you practice and you're really struggling to keep your hands above water, to keep your head out of the water for 2 minutes, then if you do the real deal, you do this test, you're gonna be very tired, and then when you get to that treading, you're not gonna be able to do that. So my tip is you want to practice this on your own until you can consistently tread water with 2 hands above water for 2 minutes without having to take a break, without having to touch the side, and you feel good about it and you can feel like you're like naturally floating and you're comfortable with your kicks, so that when you go do the actual thing, the swimming beforehand won't even matter and it'll feel like a rest. Now, number 2, I talk about this tip all the time, is you want to utilize the end walls. Sometimes you'll be at a pool that's like 100 meters or 100 yards in length. Other times it'll only be 50 yards, whatever it is. Every time you push off the wall or you turn around and you push off to go the other way, you want to exaggerate the turn. You want to push off and glide as long as you can, because that will reduce the amount of distance that you have to actively swim, actively do front crawl, or actively do breaststroke, because the momentum will carry you to the middle of the pool and your body's not really doing anything. You're just kind of being straight like an arrow and you're gliding. So it'll give you an opportunity to take a breather, and it'll also reduce the swim for you. Now, in terms of the strokes, obviously you want to do what you're most comfortable with. If you're someone who likes to do front crawl at a good solid pace. If you're someone who likes to do breaststroke, that's what I did, you can do that as well. Breaststroke's a little bit easier for longer distances, but since the distance of the swim has been reduced, it really doesn't matter. I would stick with breaststroke because it's easier and you can pace yourself. But if you want to get to that tread water with like a decent pace and you don't want to go super slow, then you're welcome to do front crawl. When you're done with the treading water, I recommend that you do breaststroke out of it though, because you will be tired, because you're coupling the treading water and you're coupling the swim before that. So when you get out of the tread, I would do a decent breaststroke, good pace, only 50 yards, and then you'll be fine. Now, tip number 3, when you're doing the treading, mix up your kicks. If you're someone who doesn't really keep their chin above water that well when you're doing flutter kicks, then switch to a breaststroke kick. If you're someone who gets tired easily doing breaststroke kick and maybe flutter kick, try the egg beater kick. There's no rule in place that says you can't switch your kicks as many times as you want. So do that and it'll help keep your chin above water. It'll help speed up the time, it'll break it up a little bit, and you can get into a rhythm. I was someone who did the breaststroke kick a little bit, and then I would switch to the egg beater, get into a rhythm, and I would go back and forth, and it would help break up the time. And I didn't get as tired, and I was also able to keep my chin above water at all times, which is what they're looking for. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and enjoyed these tips. Like and subscribe, comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks so much. Peace out.